would have like a polka song on here. And then that one would be playing a disco song, and they'd be connected through MIDI, which is the interface back here. And then what would end up happening is that this would send information to this, and vice versa, and we would filter the data that's being sent back and forth. Then the information that comes out of there is then sent to solenoid motors that change. They can play drums, they can play violin, you know, so on and so forth. And the idea is that we have something like an organic matrix of information that's generating new compositions. So something as simple as like, hello, 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 hello. Oh, sorry. Hey, hey. Bear with me. Let's unplug this guy. Okay.
So it's going to mix itself?
Okay, so this guy takes vocal information and changes it into musical information. And then this is what auto accompaniment sounds like. So let's say, kind of get the point, right? So, and then that's converted over into robotics.
So when you say robotics, does that mean that it's like a player piano and it's just going to go by itself?
Yeah, it's player piano, but that there's interaction between it, between the person and the environment, like, and the machine itself. And I wish we knew more, but I guess we'll see how it goes. Like, we want to have ways of data interfacing with each other, so you can limit the number of choices, but there's interaction with it.
So
that makes sense.
So the interaction is in the form of like a thing you input your voice, or?
One thing could be the input of the voice. The other could be data sliders that would control the information of how they're coming into each other. So if one's playing like a progression, right? Let's say it's simultaneously generating an A diminished progression in a different form of music. Now, those are going to create harmonics that are going to have relationships to each other, right? So the chord progressions will be moving within the same family of notes, the same triads. But what will end up happening is that, like, hopefully, sometimes they'll make things that would be unexpected. So there'll be shifts that occur inside of the machine because they're feeding back onto themselves. The information is being fed back to itself. So, like, the out of one of these goes into the in of one of those, and then the out of one of those goes into the in of one of those. So the data is constantly going back and forth between each other. And then there's a box like this, or where's the other box? Oh, there it is. Box of these guys, which is, these right here are MIDI pals, and what they do is they take MIDI data and quantize it, they can stretch it, they can change the pitch of it, they can change all the information. And so this gives us a physical hardware version. And these right here are solenoids that convert motor MIDI into motor actions, if that makes sense.
So what is the installation going to look like at the end?
Well, we'll see. Like this, I mean, I build, these are like some of like the speaker housings, these guys right here. Where is the other flower? Like these are some older things that I've built. Like these are circuits that are synthesizers. This one's a like form and function kind of issue is being dealt with. So this is actually picks up audio and turns it over to like a light, like called color organ. This right here is based on a 60s touch synthesizer by a guy named Michael Stein, and this uses conductivity of your skin, similar to the other synth I was showing you, and generates tones based on that.
So you can go like this and cool.
Yeah, and so like the form and the function are the same, have a play with each other. So that's kind of like what I'm trying to do with this, but with MIDI. So like bringing it up to like another scale, like. So like, this is from an old installation. This is like, the form is the, you know what I'm saying? So like the beads have a purpose, but they also have a form element to it, right? So they're glass, so that keeps it insulated. the way the circuit is set up at 9 volts doesn't require a resistor because of the load that goes in between all of the LEDs. Same with things like this. Like this is a motor control, and so like this is actually the circuit. So I make sure those things are covered and not oxidized, but I can identify what each wire is based on the color coding and what's going on, and that all parts are interchangeable. That kind of makes sense.
Cool.